The ratings are in for this Wednesday's edition of AEW Dynamite, that being the go-home episode for AEW Dynasty this weekend. AEW involved in a ridiculous situation over finalizing the Chris Jericho vs. Bandido title versus mask match set for this weekend's pay-per-view. An update on the status for The Rock and Travis Scott heading into WrestleMania 41. Kevin Owens reportedly is injured in his WrestleMania 41 match against Randy Orton, is reportedly in jeopardy. We've got new details as to when Darby Allin is set to climb Mount Everest, an update on Juice Robinson's recovery from injury. Tony Khan addresses how he reacts to fan negativity around the Death Riders angle. Could AEW Collision be set to move to Thursday nights on select dates? A PLE for WWE reportedly is heavily discussed for Mexico, and an update on Lana's possible WWE return ahead of Rusev's impending return to the company. Hey guys, welcome back to Wrestling News 365. Hope everyone is doing very well. As always, there are plenty of news stories to get into in the world of professional wrestling. As always, be sure to join the WN365 roster. You can do so by clicking the join button. The link's also in the video description. And as the video continues to go on, you will see the QR code, which you can scan. You can get your badges, your emojis, and your exclusive members-only content. In addition to that, be sure to check out the sidebar for all upcoming watch-alongs and post-shows, including AEW Dynasty this Sunday, WrestleMania Nights 1 and 2, that being Saturday and Sunday later on this month, as well as select episodes of Raw and SmackDown. We'll let you know all of the details once the dates are confirmed. Let's begin this evening with the ratings for Wednesday's edition of AEW Dynamite on TBS, of course it being the go-home episode for AEW Dynasty this coming Sunday. Now, Wednesday night's AEW Dynamite episode averaged 594,000 viewers on TBS, down 10.4% from last week. It's the lowest audience total for the show since February 19th. Dynamite drew a 0.16 rating in the 18-49 demo. That's down 5.9% from last week and ties the second lowest rating the show has done since November 27th of last year. Per WrestleNomics, the show finished either 6th or 5th on primetime cable charts, ranking behind competition from the NBA and Fox News. The early NBA game averaged 1.030 million viewers overall and drew a 0.28 rating in the 18-49, while the late game did 1.069 million viewers and a 0.29. As compared to the same week in 2024, Dynamite's overall viewership was down 21%, while its 18-49 rating was down over 30%. The comparison does not factor in viewers streaming the show on Max, which of course has been a source of controversy this week when it comes to those numbers possibly being revealed. As always, you can see the quarter-hour ratings here, courtesy of WrestleNomics. Shout out to them, and be sure to subscribe to their Patreon service. The viewership trend was what we usually see most weeks on AEW Dynamite, which is a strong lead-in, and the show generally taper off throughout the entirety of the 2 hours. However, there was a bit of a rise for the Lance Archer Brody King continuation of the match, as well as the beginning of Claudio Castagnoli versus Cope. The same kind of trend as we've seen in the last 90 days followed when it comes to the 18-49 demographic. Now, this coming Sunday, the Ring of Honor World Championship will be on the line as Chris Jericho defends against Bandido, but the match was only just confirmed over the last 24 hours, despite the fact that Jericho had put out the challenge several weeks ago. Now, after throwing out the challenge a few weeks back, there was little mention of Chris Jericho versus Bandido for the upcoming AEW Dynasty pay-per-view on April 6th, before the match was finally made official. Ring of Honor World Champion Jericho suggested a title versus mask match against Bandido for Dynasty after earlier unmasking Bandido's brother Gravity at AEW Revolution in March. The feud continued following Revolution, but the match was only greenlit on Thursday night, just days before the upcoming pay-per-view. In the Wrestling Observer newsletter, Dave Meltzer states the match is set to take place at Dynasty, but was up in the air earlier this week due to an issue involving Bandido's representatives. While the issue itself has not been disclosed, it is believed to have been worked out, although it has been described as a, quote, ridiculous few weeks when trying to finalize the bout for the card. There have been a few creative changes heading into Dynasty, with a planned AEW World Tag Team Championship match between the Hurt Syndicate and the Murder Machines being changed to the Hurt Syndicate versus the Learning Tree after Brian Cage picked up an injury. A planned Will Ospreay versus Jay White Owen Hart Foundation tournament match was also changed to Ospreay versus Kevin Knight after White also suffered an injury. Now, switching over to WWE and an update when it comes to The Rock's involvement for WrestleMania 41. The last time both The Rock and rapper Travis Scott were seen on WWE television was at the Elimination Chamber PLE when they assisted John Cena's shocking heel turn and attack on Cody Rhodes. Last month, numerous reports indicated that Scott had been training to set himself up for a match in the near future, but as for The Rock, his plans for the grandest stage of them all have remained uncertain. That said, on Friday morning, Dave Meltzer provided an update on The Rock and Scott's status for WrestleMania 41 in the Wrestling Observer newsletter. According to Meltzer, Scott is currently slated to appear at WrestleMania, but plans for the final boss to participate at the event is completely up to Dwayne Johnson. He noted that there's an expectation that The Rock will be at the event, but the specifics of his involvement still remain unclear. Meltzer also speculated that the Hollywood actor's status is possibly being kept a secret, but he questions why that would be the case if many already anticipate him to be at the show. So far, the only creative plans that Meltzer has heard of for The Rock to be at WrestleMania were to help Cena win his 17th World Championship. Since Cena returned to Raw, he has been face-to-face with Rhodes on 3 occasions ahead of their undisputed WWE Championship match at WrestleMania 41. The Rock has only been mentioned once during their latest promo together. Although Scott is scheduled to appear at WrestleMania, there is no further update on if he will be physically getting involved at the event. Speaking of WrestleMania, Kevin Owens' status for the PLE may now be in jeopardy. Following reports that a match was possibly set to be pulled from WrestleMania 41, it has been revealed that the match at risk is Kevin Owens versus Randy Orton. PWN has reported that Kevin Owens is currently dealing with an undisclosed injury, and there is no timetable for his return to in-ring action. This has left the Kevin Owens versus Randy Orton match planned for WrestleMania in jeopardy, to the point that alternative plans for Orton have been discussed. The plans being considered for Orton are currently unknown. Kevin Owens has not wrestled since his unsanctioned match with Sami Zayn at Elimination Chamber on March 1st. Randy Orton returned from his months-long hiatus following KO's win, setting up their WrestleMania match in the process. Owens and Orton have continued feuding in the weeks since Elimination Chamber, and their WrestleMania match was made official on the March 21st edition of Friday Night SmackDown. Owens last appeared on WWE TV on the March 28th episode of SmackDown, costing Orton his match against Drew McIntyre. Now, when it comes to how WWE is going to address all of this, it could be addressed as soon as tonight's episode of SmackDown. According to a report, as I mentioned, Owens is dealing with an undisclosed injury just over 2 weeks ahead of his advertised match in Las Vegas. With it being noted, there is currently no timetable for a return to action for the prize fighter. Ahead of tonight's SmackDown in Chicago, Corey Hayes has shared a new update on Owens' WrestleMania 41 status, posting the following to Twitter, quote, "Kevin Owens' WrestleMania status is expected to be addressed on TV tonight on SmackDown." Of course, if we get any more details on his status, we'll let you know in a future video. Now, Darby Allin, we've got an update when it comes to his planned intention to climb Mount Everest. For years, AEW star Darby Allin has been stating his intent to climb Mount Everest, the tallest peak in the world. It looks as though the wrestler will soon start working towards this goal, as the latest Wrestling Observer newsletter indicates that Darby will begin the long ascent on April 15th, with a trek that takes most climbers about 2 months. As noted by Dave Meltzer, only 2/3 of those who attempt to summit Everest make it to the top, and that figure is slightly lower for anyone without a great deal of experience, as many turn back if conditions are poor. Additionally, Darby's relative inexperience could mean that he'll take longer than 2 months to complete the journey, and Meltzer wondered whether the damage done to Darby's body over the course of his wrestling career will make it more difficult to successfully complete the climb at all. Darby Allin was initially set to attempt the summit last year, though an injury at AEW Big Business forced him to postpone the journey until 2025. Although he only developed an interest in mountain climbing over the last few years, Darby Allin has said that AEW's schedule has allowed him to train heavily for Everest, and the long waited day is now finally approaching. Of course, Everest was first summited in the 1950s, and recreational climbing on the mountain has steadily grown in popularity over the last 40 years. Still, people die in the attempt every year when they try to do it, with 9 individuals perishing on the journey in 2024 alone. According to data from Meltzer, about 1% of the climbers who attempt to summit Everest die, either on the journey up or as they travel back down. Now, an injury update here when it comes to Juice Robinson. It's been just over 4 months since the last time AEW fans got to see Juice Robinson perform live. Robinson was last seen on the November 30 episode of AEW Collision, wrestling Will Ospreay in the opening week of matches in the 2024 Continental Classic Tournament, when he snapped his fibula during the match, forcing him to be withdrawn from the tournament and replaced by Commander. Fortunately for fans of Robinson, it looks as though his road to recovery is going smoothly, as Dave Meltzer reported in the latest edition of the Wrestling Observer newsletter that Robinson is expected to return to in-ring training in the next few weeks, while also mentioning that he underwent successful surgery on his leg back in December of last year. Many people felt awful for Robinson, as he'd only just made his return to AEW from a serious back injury 6 months earlier, helping Bullet Club Gold retain the Unified World Trios Championships against Death Triangle at Double or Nothing 2024. Injuries have been a common theme for the Bang Bang Gang over the past year, as all 4 members have been away from the ring due to being hurt. Along with Robinson's back and leg injuries, Jay White broke his foot in the 2024 Owen Hart Foundation tournament, forcing him to miss 3 months of action, as he's recently been pulled from the 2025 tournament after reportedly breaking his hand, which requires surgery. Austin and Colton Gurn also missed months of action towards the end of 2024, with Austin being sidelined due to an undisclosed injury, which ultimately led to AEW not using Colton until his brother was healthy. They returned to action in February 2025, but they were unsuccessful in their attempt at taking AEW Tag Team Championships away from the Hurt Syndicate. Now let's go over to the top angle in AEW right now, that being the Death Riders. Jon Moxley and the Death Riders have been dominating AEW since he recaptured the AEW World Championship, but despite positive crowd reactions, the angle gets slammed and is often criticized for not living up to what fans expected of it. Naturally, Tony Khan is very aware of the online comments, and during the AEW Dynasty media call, he shared how he handles the negative reaction. Quote, "I think that fans' feedback is very important. Probably the most consistent feedback we get week to week is in the form of hearing directly from the fans," Khan claimed, adding that AEW does keep their eye on social media, TV viewership, and other business metrics. "I think also realizing that there are a lot of fans' opinions that are shared, there are a lot of fan opinions that are polarizing." Khan further noted that the promotion also tracks the popularity of wrestlers, both through crowd reaction and whether they affect ratings. Quote, "I do think our fans have given us great feedback," he said. "I feel like the sentiment about AEW products right now going into Dynasty is maybe the best it's been in many years." Khan further expressed how he thinks the positive reaction ahead of AEW Dynasty speaks to the quality of their fans as well as the wrestlers and members of the production team responsible for making the shows happen. Quote, "And that is something that going into Dynasty I am really proud of," end quote. Now, continuing with Tony Khan, he was asked about the future of AEW Collision. Tony Khan has discussed the promotion's Saturday night show, AEW Collision, potentially moving out of Saturday after WBD's deal with the NBA expires. Khan addressed recent reports that Collision could air on another day, with the AEW CEO insisting that he's happy with the show's performance and the audience that they've developed. Quote, "Well, I think we have a great thing on Saturdays. Right now, we've consistently been one of the top shows in our time slots, and we've been building a great audience, and Collision is having a great year. We've really performed very well relative to the cable industry on Collision and delivered a consistent winner on Saturdays, and the show is building a lot of momentum. So I think Collision is doing fantastic on Saturdays, and we've had some really great opportunities thanks to Warner Bros. Discovery and Mr. Zaslav and the team," Khan said. Khan emphasized how AEW has benefited from the lead-ins of various sports to their programming and stressed that Collision is building a new audience as a result. However, the AEW CEO is open to following WBD's directive on when AEW Saturday night show should air. He said, quote, "So I do think we've built great momentum on Saturdays, but I would be open to basically anything within reason the network asked me to do. I'm really very proud of the run we're having," he said. "That run for Dynamite, that consistency, and particularly the hot run of shows recently, I think that's also extended into Collision, and we've had some great episodes in 2025, and trying to build that same kind of great longevity and hoping Collision's here for many years to come, just as Dynamite has been one of the most successful shows ever on the network." Khan thanked the network for its support, especially the lead-ins from various sports, which he believes have contributed to some of the best shows in AEW history. He concluded by saying that he was unsure what the future holds for Collision on Saturdays. Now, let's go over to WWE and future WWE PLEs. The international location for a future WWE PLE has been heavily discussed internally, according to a recent report. That location would be Mexico, fueled by comments previously made by Bad Bunny that Backlash could be heading to the country. Later reports emerged that 2026 was a good possibility for a WWE PLE in Mexico, according to WrestleVotes. WrestleVotes has now provided further insight into international PLE locations for WWE on Sportskeeda's Backstage Pass. According to their sources, Mexico is indeed a potential location, having been discussed heavily, with London also being an option, with WrestleVote stating, quote, "Mexico has been discussed heavily. I don't know if it's official. The London thing is always there. They're always wanting shows. They always put themselves out there to get big shows. Look, WWE is going to go where they make the most money. Internationally has been selling out just as much as domestic." And finally, could Lana return to WWE now that Rusev is seemingly on his way back to the company? An update has emerged on former WWE superstar Lana/CJ Perry's return following reports about Rusev's comeback. It was previously reported that Miro, who wrestled in WWE as Rusev from 2010 until 2020, had signed a contract after being spotted at WWE HQ. While the status of his partner CJ Perry, who appeared for WWE as Lana from 2013 to 2021, was previously unclear, an update has now emerged via the Wrestling Observer newsletter. Per Dave Meltzer, people within WWE are of the impression that Perry won't be joining the company with Miro. Meltzer writes, quote, Miro was at the offices on April 2nd to sign his new contract, and it's been expected he would sign here when he got his AEW release. CJ Perry was not with him, and right now those in the company are of the impression she's not coming in with him. Of course, if we get any more details on her WWE status, we'll let you know in a future video. But there you go, guys, the latest pro wrestling news for you. Be sure to smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe bottom right hand corner. A reminder, you can join the WN365 roster by clicking the join button. You scan the QR code on the sidebar as well. And also be sure to join us for upcoming watch-alongs and post-shows, including this coming Sunday for AEW Dynasty. We'll be live 15 minutes before the pay-per-view goes live on the air. But there you go, guys. Appreciate you tuning in, and I'll speak to you again very, very soon.
Hey guys, thank you for watching, listening, streaming, or however you come across this video today. Be sure to click on the video on the right there to watch our video, or click the bottom there to subscribe, or the bottom right hand corner. Thank you very much, and I'll speak to you again very soon.